Welcome back to the Analyst Test for Mad Lions versus Fnatic, the perfect way to close out the evening before PGL, of course. Mad Lions have taken the lead by storm in summer. They're looking to secure a spot at Worlds over the last 3 weeks, joined by Ender and Vedius once more. And I've got a question that I want to pose you. How far away are the Mad Lions from peak G2 esports, who in my mind, you could pick any moment in 2019?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really interesting question because individually, I think Mad Lions are actually very close. I think that when you look at Mad Lions, a lot of fans will sit there and say, like, you can't really compare Orome to Wonder, right? Which, okay, fine. They play differently. That's fair. But I think that when you look at every other position, mechanically, skill-wise, I think that they're up to par. I think their early game is about as chaotic as what we saw from G2 last year. One of the biggest differences, I think, is their mid-game, where I think that G2 had one of the cleanest and most effective mid-games that Europe had ever seen last year. But in our current meta, you don't need that, because it's quite formulaic in play around Dragon, play around Riftchild, get vision control here, Baron, blah, blah, blah. So that gap isn't required. But the flavor that you constantly see in Mad Lions' approach to the game, the fact that they go for these engages that you don't typically expect, the fact that they're extremely charismatic and constantly having fun, I think they are very close to what peak G2 was.
Yeah, I mean, because when I look at this team, like, I don't want to put a number on it because obviously it's arbitrary, but like 90%, like it's like within touching distance, like you're sort of feeling it there. I mean, they have definitively the best jungler in Europe in the Summer Split. I'll go out and say that I think they're challenging in a lot of their roles, the majority of their roles, for the top spots as well, like you were saying. And for me, it's the flair they bring, because it's not a carbon copy of G2. That's not what we're trying to say. We're trying to say the level that they play at, are they close to that? And I think in their own ways, much like G2, they are trying to redefine the meta. The early splits, or the early part of the season where they're picking all these hard dive comps that are built to like kill the Varus. That's the #1 champion. It's these ways that are trying to rewrite the game that other teams are taking note to.
We're almost ready for draft, so final thoughts on Mad Lions.
Yeah, it's just, what I think is really fascinating is, you know, it's not about G2, and it's more about the fact that I think our league looks weak right now. And I think that I, as a fan of the league, I'm obviously worried because I think, okay, if a whole league is bad, what does that mean? So I have to look at the bright side, which is Mad Lions
look great.
Look fantastic. Yeah. They really do look clean in so many aspects. And this is a team I genuinely think you can be excited about and what they can do in the future.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I'm so sorry to cut you off. The teams are ready for draft. I did want to talk about Fnatic. We don't have time. I'm going to leave it to Drakos and Frost to do so. We're closing out the day with that epic matchup. Mad Lions taking on Fnatic. By the way, Fnatic tweeted that they're taking on the 2020 Worlds finalists in Mad Lions. Let's actually see if Mad win.
Hey, Christy, you can't finish your point, but I've got a fun fact. Bam! Quick stats, quick facts, quick tweets, whatever. I'm struggling today. Anyway, we're here, and we're the perfect people to talk about Fnatic, because not only are they struggling, I'm struggling, and also we talked to Bwipo this week on Euphoria. See how we brought that all together in the end? He had a lot to say about kind of what's going... Yeah, quite frankly.
Sit down. It's okay. I'll take it from
Fnatic,
here.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So the issue with Fnatic is Bwipo talked extensively about their playstyle and their drafting specifically. And he thought that the drafting playstyle for Fnatic right now is whatever their first pick is, the rest of the composition is built almost entirely around it, which is in the past, they used to draft for winning matchups independently. Now, in this current meta, it's much more about the team fight, much more about the Drakes, much more about the Baron. And so I prefer kind of the newer draft strategy, but then they need to kind of hedge all of their bets on the right champion. In the past, it was things like the Graves. It was things like the Syndras or the Twisted Fates. Now, figure something else out. Grab a Senna, if you will, because that seems to be kind of the flavor of the month that they're going for.
And I want to see, because cohesive draft strategy, we saw in the last game, when you've got a draft that plays well together, that works well together, everything runs a bit smoother. Or when you just outplay your opponents is another option. We'll see which of the two that these teams want to go with, but no surprise to see Fnatic already banning away Kalista.
And I was going to say, the issue is that they're against the Mad Lions of all teams right now, which feel like they can draft anything. I love the fact that the desk was talking about kind of the energy of G2 in this team. I want to give them more than that. I do not want Mad Lions to just be a shadow of G2 and constantly just measuring themselves up against that stick. Mad Lions put G2 in the ground. They have dismantled every single top team. They are their own beast.
And if you want to compare them, I think that what you can say is that in Europe, the most successful teams that we've seen in the last few years, probably ever, have been G2 and now potentially Mad Lions. Those are teams that seem to be founded on 5 strong mechanical players who have an incredibly strong bond. You see it. You see the friendship. You see the positivity they bring to the game, the attitude that they bring to the table, and that's something that has so clearly paid off for this team.
It is play your style. It always has been the mantra for Europe, and that is the mantra of the Mad Lions. But here we go. We've already set it up. We know that whatever this pick is going to be, that all of G2 or all of Fnatic's composition will really be rounded around it. So it's something like an Orianna. Champions that work well with Orianna are champions like Aphelios.
See if they want to go for the more scaling option. Of course, I wonder how nervous they are about something like the Senna Wukong coming through. Obviously, a very strong option into the Aphelios. That hard engage can be very difficult to deal with up until Aphelios is, well, you know, 4 or 5 items, unkillable, 200 years, etc. For now, though, Syndra is open, a champion that we saw kind of falling away last week, but appears to be rising in priority again. Mad Lions happy to take that matchup most likely into the mid lane, but as always, we have to mention that it is a flex.
And I think Syndra's just rising in priority again because other champions have been nerfed away. Things like the Varus and the Aphelios are no longer as high priorities. They used to be Varus completely disappearing from the ban phase, and that just means that Syndra's like, I kind of got nerfed, but not nearly as hard as the others, so I'm still here, guys.
And now the Trundle locked in as well, so we're getting a lot of similar vibes to what we saw from Misfits in the previous game. We saw excellent pillar setup around, I think it was the level 2 gank that you talked about, where you can pillar into Scat of the Week and essentially one-shot someone very early on in the game. See if Fnatic draft anything to counteract this. I think our eyes inevitably have to be pulled to Selfmade because it has been a lot of Selfmade games where he's playing the carry, where he's the man set up for success. Now with the Carzzy expand away, his options are, well, fewer, mostly overall, but could still potentially go for a more hard carry style jungler.
And if a Tahm Kench gets locked in here, this would be almost the exact same composition that Fnatic ran in their previous victory. Reminder, it was the Tahm Kench, Senna, Orianna, Cho'Gath composition, similar to what we just saw Rogue display.
Taking their time, though. Leona actually going to be the lock-in here, so a little bit more hard CC, a little bit more engage on the side of Fnatic.
Well, they're probably not going to find it in their jungler. And Bwipo, while he does play Ornn and has played it in the past, hasn't really tended to go towards it. So obviously picking up that hard CC on the likes of Hilly and trying to have some backline threat, as there's the Ezreal lock-in when you see that Leona is present.
It's also important to remember how much the story of this matchup has changed, because in spring we would have talked about how Bwipo could look to exploit Orome on the top side of the map. But given Bwipo's early game struggles last week and how, honestly, much Orome has stepped up here in summer, it no longer feels like it's a viable story. So how both teams want to approach the top lane is a big question mark. For now, Mad Lions banning away some safe blind picks. The Bard going to be taken off the table. I like this. Kaiser's proven himself to be a fantastic Bard player, and it can, in theory, really limit some of what the Senna can do as a champion without a dash.
And you would expect that Kaiser's support pick would be kind of the next one for Mad Lions, and then they'd open up the potential for Orome to get a counter pick. As I say that, though, Kaiser is one of the hard carries of this team, so maybe Mad Lions throw the rulebook out the window and then have the blind pick top laner for the counter pick and support. We've seen Kaiser reach for things like the Pantheon.
Options up and available. But as you said, I like limiting the blind pickable top laners. Obviously, on blue side, you do not have the luxury of last picks. You always want to blind pick something. You're always going to have to. The Pantheon coming through here would be very, very aggressive, but I cannot say that I do not like it. I love watching this champion work. Very high risk, high reward style play. And now, how do Fnatic respond?
But if that is Kaiser's Pantheon, which we do expect it to be since he's already played it, you're missing some of the other pieces that really went along with it, which was that global presence, things like a Twisted Fate to go along with it. So it's not the same raining hell from the skies composition that we've seen in the past.
And it appears that while we talk about changes for Fnatic and we are seeing some adaptation coming in here, they are still going to put Selfmade on a more carry-style champion in the Graves. We saw it work out pretty well earlier in the day for Vitality, now paired with the Cho'Gath as well. And I'll say that I like this a lot more than the Soraka setup we saw earlier, because there's just so many tools to let Graves get in close, and Mad Lions drafting a lot of champions who are going to have to get close to Graves in the Renekton, in the Pantheon, in the Trundle. This one is most certainly going to be explosive.
Yeah, Graves will actually get to fight here. You just talked about all of these melee range champions, and Graves, that's where he really excels. Taking a step back and looking at both these compositions, though, Fnatic have a very slow composition. This is a comp that really wants to take its time, lay lay down the farm, get the stacks on Senna, play team fights exceptionally slow, create space for Selfmade. Whereas for Mad Lions, there is a bit more of a clock here with where their champions are strong and when their champions are strong, particularly in that Renekton in the top side.
And I've really got my eyes on Shadow in this game. It might not be the Lee Sin, but the Trundle has the pillar paired with 2 laners with a lot of setup CC. Bwipo and Nemesis have to play this one out cleanly, cannot afford to fall behind. But it's time for our 5th and final game of the day. Fnatic versus Mad, going toe-to-toe. Here we are on Summoner's Rift. It looks like level 1 is where the action is going to start as both teams start to posture here. Knockup will connect. But now it looks like both sides going to back off. Just a warning shot, you know, get things started off right, let everyone know that the game starts at level 1.
So we kind of talked about the timeline that both these compositions want to play on. Looking from Mad Lion's side, I do feel that they are on a shorter clock. So things that I want to see out of them is, again, getting those Drakes stacking. Start to threaten with a potential early Soul or an early Elder. Fnatic then, if they manage to steal one of these early Drakes away, I feel really confident for the composition. Unless they just absolutely botch everything, that would put them in a wonderful position to find the late game scaling that I think that they really need. So if you're a Fnatic fan and you see your team approach for a Drake fight really early on without any core itemization, that's when you get the white knuckles. That's when you're like, no, walk away, you don't need it. But if they do get one for free, that's a nice little cherry on top.
Absolutely is. But if Mad Lions can pick up the pace, this is a team that has proven repeatedly that they can close out a game. So if they can't get as big of a gold lead as we've seen Misfits in the past get against Fnatic, when Fnatic had that miserable early game last week, then it should be much easier for them to close. And as always, anytime we talk about Fnatic, you kind of have to talk about the pressure on this team. They are a middle-of-the-pack team playing against the top-of-the-table team. Not something that we're used to saying about Fnatic. And when you look at these players overall, Bwipo talked about it on Euphoria. If you're not great on Fnatic, you're bad. You're a disappointment. And that is a ton of pressure on these guys as they go into a game where Mad Lions are stacked with early game power and could absolutely end someone's entire game just in the laning phase.
The nice thing about facing a team like Mad Lions, though, especially for Fnatic, is it should put them relatively in their comfort zone. You know, when we saw Fnatic face Mad Lions in the previous playoffs, it was a lot of scrappy back and forth fighting. We know that Fnatic are a very brawl-heavy team, and speaking of, Kaiser demonstrating that right now. And it's kind of feast or famine right now for this iteration of Fnatic. If Mad Lions take it to them, which they will, are Fnatic on form today? Are they having a good enough day that they can go toe-to-toe? If not, they're just going to get beaten down, and this one should be over very fast.
Orome for now playing quite aggressive, using the Coleman heal up in lane, Bwipo taking some less than favorable trades, but turning them around actually, as Orome takes a lot of damage there from the minion wave. Eyes on Shadow though.
Here comes the
step towards
dive.
the top side of the map. Syndra coming up as well. Good use of that lane priority from Humanoid. And now Bwipo's going to be in trouble here. Going to try to fish for this one. Pillar's available. Shadow's going to make sure he takes aggro. Walk out. Clean, easy dive coming in from Mad Lions. Flawless execution.
Yeah, beautifully done. You called it right there. The fact that Shadow had the aggro, so even though the knockup connected to Orome, he was fine to walk out on this Renekton. Now even proxy farming as the teleport is forced out of Bwipo here. Trying to walk him down.
Orome, good backstep. The slow's coming in though. Bwipo can just try to walk this
Orome has
down.
flash.
Flash forward. The silence coming in as well. The knockup as well. Orome is just going to get taken out here by Bwipo. Shadow can look for the return kill, however, but we're not going to have enough time to talk about that one because Hylissang's getting frisky on the bottom side. That's a Pantheon caught out and taken down. Level 3 or level 2 means no level 3 damage mitigation and an easy pickup from the side of Fnatic.
And super easy call for Selfmade to make, especially as Shadow showed himself up into the top lane with that potential dive. They saw the setup. Again, it's the Fnatic special. They always let their wave crash into them, and they always put a Hilly on a champion like the Nautilus, like the Leona, that when you're in a long lane on that Beko flag, he will find you. And Selfmade had the confidence to show up knowing that Trundle wouldn't be there.
And all things considered, what started off very positive for Mad Lions and getting just an excellent tower dive on the top side has turned a little bit back against them, as now we've got Selfmade and Bwipo with kills of their own.
I mean, it's still pretty bad. Orome's proxy farmed twice on Bwipo, which just means the tower, or excuse me, the minion wave incoming is going to hit the tower that much faster, delete that many more minions from Bwipo. If Orome's caught here, though, okay, he's good.
Connect.
And then Orome is going to get a easy recall here. Hard shifts the wave, it pushes in. It's going to take a long time before it swings back to him, so Orome is not going to have to rely, as I say, Orome wouldn't have to rely on his teleport to get back into lane on time, but instead thinks different of it. Maybe he's having communication with Shadow here, wants to go for a potential gank. He is pathing top side. Maybe he just wants more money to get a certain item.
I was going to say, going back right now, maybe he's got enough for longsword, maybe he's got enough for boots, not great. But if you can go back on Cutlass, if he is going to go for that early Blade of the Rune King, I think very strong in this matchup. That feels good, because then it is so much easier to run down Bwipo. But Humanoid's going to have to be careful here. Wants to proc that phase rush, but may not get the opportunity to do so. The flash from Selfmade, he's going to proc the phase rush of his own. Humanoid now getting burned down, and the clean finish for Fnatic. That is the mid lane execution they were looking for last week.
And it looks like today, at least some of Fnatic members that we've seen are on form. We knew that it was going to be skirmish and bloody. And it's already showing its head there as Mad Lions aren't necessarily the ones setting the tempo anymore. It was like that initial top lane dive, but now Humanoid being caught unawares.
And we heard last week from Rekkles as well, when I got a chance to sit down to him, that Fnatic were struggling playing and executing as a team, but we are seeing more solid team play here. Still, of course, a difficult game to play out on the top side if you are Bwipo at a very massive deficit, 15 CS at the moment as well, as significant overall gold lead. But Hylissang, Selfmade, feeling confident. Shadow on the way down. Hylissang, if he takes too much damage before the spike kicks off, he is going to be in trouble. But now it's Kaiser who's in trouble. He's already burned the shield, and that means he gets picked off. TP coming in from Nemesis might not have been needed, but still, Fnatic coming out on top.
Better safe than sorry, I think is what Fnatic are thinking right there. And yeah, Nemi can just walk back into the mid lane. Syndra is pushing the tower in. It's now, what, 2 easy ganks for Selfmade bot side into a early dragon pickup. What did we say about the Drake? This composition scales effectively well. That Drake means that it's just another timer for Mad Lions to try to get a Drake stack going on a comp that has a smaller window, and they've got 4 kills to their name.
Oh, now Shadow, though, is just going to walk in and just take that Drake and just maybe
all
auto
back.
the graves down. All right, well, we have cast or cursed a lot today, and that certainly feels like a clean example. I was about to talk about how we've seen Cho'Gath, Orianna together.
FPX, the greatest teams ever.
Oh, no. All right.
They're not even good right now.
That was, whoops. That was an oopsie. Good news for Fnatic fans is that Kaiser obviously has been a massive problem for so many teams to deal with. He feels like the best performing support in our league overall, and the Pantheon was a pick that a lot of teams struggled with, but Fnatic clearly have a strategy to deal with it and are mitigating what normally would look like some incredibly fantastic stats here as they're baiting out the big shield from Pantheon before just finishing off kills on an otherwise squishy champion.
Yeah, basically just playing it slow and playing with numbers advantage. Selfmade especially doing a good job getting involved in a lot of these kills. Now that said, we still do need to talk about the problem in the top side of the map, which is Bwipo on 30 CS to 60 right now. And this is Wave pushing away from him. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Slowly, though.
And I don't really want to give him any cop-outs. He did come back last week. That'll be the one that we say, is that like he was kind of inevitable. And he's also into a Renekton comparable to the Aatrox. So I think the eyes are on Orome to really push his individual advantage more, because he is clearly the strongest lane point on the map for his team.
Wait, did Taylor get away with that?
I think so. It's not going to do anything, but it looked really cool.
I couldn't tell if he was hex flashing into the brush to see if he could catch someone in there, or if he was like, if I hex flash into the brush, no one will see.
Hylissang still doesn't know that he's not a jungler. That's my theory. He's like, Rekkles, I'm going to go for a lane gank. He's like, this is your lane. You're not ganking. This is just where you're supposed to be. He's like, lane gank? All right. One more time.
Of course, we've swapped to Herald right now, and you can see that Kaiser has already made his way up into the mid lane, whereas Rekkles is walking back down bottom with Carzzy, and Hilly has now made his way up, so it is 4v4 top side for the map.
And of course, a bit of damage advantage right now for Syndra, and that she has the lost chapter compared to the tier that got
Oh, wait,
Nemesis.
Observer, show us again. I missed it. It was on Drakos' side of the plastic screen.
Oh, COVID.
Okay, here we go. Look, look.
Bam. Perfect darkness.
He's a god. He was Splinter Cell.
The heist. He's done it.
Everyone's going to try that in their solo queue games now.
Hold on to that thought. Selfmade's now running him down. He's going to be very fast. The smite coming in as well, and Kaiser's just barely going to be able to make it out on the Aegis assault on that one.
Rekkles does have 6, though.
Wait for the ulti. We've been here before. Selfmade walked into it last time. Will Kaiser walk into it this time?
It's not even going to throw it.
Push the...
Saves it. Tells me that they're potentially looking for a play right here. Kill.
Also have no vision, so maybe just didn't want to risk that one.
No, it's look at Hilly. He just got level 6. I think what they were thinking is I'm going to hold the ultimate because Leona's about to get an ult, and we're going to fish for a bigger play. Meanwhile, while all this has happened, Shadow has gotten the Rift held on the top side of the map, so basically saw all the skirmishing that was happening on bot side river. Reset, sprinted top, has Herald. And probably will put that into Renekton's pocket to continue to springboard Orome ahead. Yeah. And this is the play that Fnatic were like, hold the Senna ultimate because we're really going to try to abuse with Leo ult.
And additionally, the Senna ult potential to mitigate any tower dive that could come through on the top side as we see Orome and Shadow just stepping forward, shredding through these plates of coal for the Renekton as well, as it looks like he's going to proxy another wave, and they're going to give him full solo tower gold. His Selfmade's caught out here to proc phase rush, but doesn't have nearly enough time to run away to safety, or does he? Manages to make it out. Lucky for him, Rekkles and Hylissang are in the area.
Also had a nice flash away right there. Now the top tower does drop down. We talked about how it was going to go into Renekton's back pocket, continuing a lot of that strength. We'll see what Bwipo does with his wave. I have a feeling he's going to hold it as long as possible. And now that means that Orome will have to find other places to go, like bot lane.
Syndra TPing down to the bottom side. Hylissang locked up. Scat of the week. Where is it going to be? For now, nowhere. Humanoid running forward. The flash, he's going to commit. Hylissang's just going to trade. The pillar now coming in. Hylissang could be in trouble, but they managed to lock up Humanoid. And now the turn, that's the ult that they save. Now Rekkles is keeping his entire team healthy. Hylissang's not taking any damage. Bwipo now stepping forward. And of course, Orome, an absolute powerhouse. He's going to grab one. Will they push for the dive as well? In the meantime, Nemesis pushing in, grabbing some mid lane plates, and Fnatic, so far so good. Only losing one on a very big play coming in. Traded back as Humanoid also managed to drop.
Yeah, Mad Lions step on the gas. A lot expended, however, for no tower, no Drake. It will be spawning in 20 seconds, but you'd expect that both teams would reset here, try to get better positioning onto it.
And now Rekkles, of course, resetting to the top side, though, so maybe willing to give up that Drake. Bwipo needs a tier 1 tower to stay under, sadly for him. He is so far behind in the individual 1v1 that if he's left in a long lane without a tower, he will get run down by that Blade of the Rune King. So it does mean Fnatic are going to have to give up, I believe, the second Drake here.
Instead, giving all of their resources to Rekkles. So Bwipo is paying the price for his AD carry to have a nice, safe lane to farm into. Like you already talked about, the fact that Rekkles went to the top side means that Fnatic are just going to handshake on this Drake. That's fine. Fnatic don't necessarily need the Drake. Just need to make sure that they can test for that soul.
And of course, while it is 5 kills to 3, remember that the big thing that we wanted to be like, oh yes, good job Fnatic, good early game, was the fact that we thought they were going to get the Cloud Drake earlier, but due to a dangerous miscalculation around life total and smites, and well, quite frankly, Shadow being in the right place, they don't have that. So now they are going to be racing against Soul Point here for the side of Mad. And it's going to be Ocean Soul, which is definitely not something that Fnatic want to deal with. Can, of course, always try to one-combo people, but they do just have a lot of sustained damage on their side.
I still think the biggest issue is how far ahead this Crocodile is going to be, just extending the usefulness of Renekton.
And this is something we talked about with Bwipo as well, is that Renekton is a champion where he's harder to execute in the mid to late game. If he ever finds that angle, he still does a ton of damage. He still can blow people up on your team. It's just harder to pull off.
Orome actually just went straight to the wall. Oh, he's got the chomp.
Oh, with the Blade of the Rune King. Speeds his way out. He's going to go back in. Playing on the edge there, but has the Cold the Meek to heal back up. Bwipo just praying to get him to that threshold so we can go for the Devour, but he's just instead going to have to feast a minion.
Okay, I know Observer's going to show us again. I'm pretty sure Orome just like spiked his face directly into the wall and immediately took tower aggro. Almost threw his entire lead right there.
It's like when you see those cats sprinting across and then they just run straight into a screen door. Except it's a crocodile and a top laner for Mad instead, so.
I've done that many times.
Yeah, I remember that one. To be fair, I was 8. I don't know how old you were, but...
I'm probably an adult.
Here we go. Where's the screen door? Orome doesn't see it. Oh, no. Yep. There's the screen door. It was the LEC banner. He's like, I want that crown. It's not the real one, buddy. Baited and outsmarted.
Your time will come.
Thank you, observers.
Of course. Back on track.
Quickly, narrative. King's Legacy Dynasty. All right, so.
What is happening today?
It's a wild day. So, once again, stakes for the game. Thank you, PGL Graphic. We'll hold on that. We've talked about it Orome now.
The producers are like, throw a graphic, help them.
Get them out of their hole. Fnatic They've got scaling. They've got the Senna, they've got the Orianna, the Cho'Gath. You'll remember it, Misfits fans, from the game where Fnatic instantly turned around a team fight with those 3 champions together. Now they've also got a Graves, which makes their scaling, I think, even more lethal. On the opposite side, you've got absolute early game powerhouses for Mad. The bad news is, most of your early game powerhouses in the Syndra, who's early to mid, can be very strong, is a little bit behind. Your Renekton, however, is your one strong point, and while they're using it well, 40 CS advantage for Orome on that side, they have not gotten a greater advantage quite yet, as the gold lead is just about dead even.
Just means that they need to pay attention. Mad Lions need to pay attention to the lane assignments. I'll hold it though. Oh, Leo!
It's going to be sidestep, but it's not nearly enough as Hylissang comes in with the backup, but now it's Orome on to try to turn the fight. He's going to dash out though. Definitely not the turn that they wanted. Fnatic continuing to push forward. Selfmade can start to walk in here. They're giving the Renekton a lot of respect. No, they can't afford to overstep. There's a lot of CC on the Mad Lions side. Carzzy waiting over the wall.
Orome needs to be careful. I know that Selfmade doesn't have a lot of mana, but he still does significant damage.
Yeah, challenging Smite as well, combined with the red buff, and the phase rush does make his life difficult.
I was looking at the screen out of my peripheral vision, and I thought Cho'Gath was Shelly. I was like, when did they get the Rift Herald?
It's been a wild game, but that's been that one.
No longer a tadpole, much larger.
No longer, yes.
Fnatic find a kill on Humanoid, then use that numbers advantage to brute force this mid lane tower, opening the map. This is the Fnatic special. Really big shout out to a lot of their control ward vision and the Hex Flash from Hilly, Splinter Cell himself. When Hilly has good games, he's got some good games.
This is, yeah. This man is like the Ocean's 11 remake that we all wanted instead of Ocean's 12 and 13. We didn't need more after that. That first one, perfect.
The George Clooney, not the Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, just the George Clooney was a, beautiful thing. How did they do it? We'll never know. Similar story with Hylissang. Finding those angles every single time, something we always praise him for. And surprisingly, one of the first games that we've seen from Kaiser where it actually really feels like he is struggling, and like this very unique pick that he kind of innovated or brought out here in Europe is getting shut down. The Pantheon, now that it's fallen behind, feels very lackluster.
Still will do a lot of damage at this point in the game though, so while I do agree with you that it's shelf life is a bit limited here, if he lands on Rekkles, he can still pop him.
Definitely can. And of course, you're always going to have the shield there, the Aegis Assault, to block damage for at least a brief window of time. Ulti now coming out. Looks like they are going to try to go for the dive onto Bwipo. That is a very low tower. The stun is there, but no one is really in the area. Tower will mostly get one shot as soon as the wave collapses, but in the meantime, we have Selfmade taking an objective top side. Fnatic are going to commit a TP bot side just to try to deny the wave, and Fnatic really just coming out on top again in that exchange.
I see that Mad Lions are also fans of wasting time with Bwipo.
You can't shut him down so far that he won't still press Q in a team fight. That's the struggle.
Yeah, because meanwhile, like you said, Fnatic getting everything on the map and now potentially finding a pick.
And it does not look like Fnatic actually want to take this fight, although Selfmade on the way in. They're going to get the Herald to collapse topside. Rekkles going to be in trouble here. A lot of damage going down. Eyes on Carzzy is going to get one. Can they keep the fight going? But it's Bwipo onto the side. That's going to be the knock-up. Trundle trying to soak up some tanky stats, but it might not be enough to flash forward. Selfmade now coming in as Rekkles is going to grab another one. Orome, oh, he was so strong in laning phase, but what else can he get done? They're just kiting him. They're just running away. Kaiser going to have to flash out. They're trying to finish this one off. Flash away as Carzzy getting lower and lower, fighting on a knife's edge most certainly, but in the meantime, the Rift Herald, the Cannon Wave, they're breaking down top. Fnatic just continue to win in the small exchanges.
Still, though, a small win right there. That was super heavily forced from Hilly right there, and Fnatic really dug him out of that in those exchanges. You know, that was a single Q hitting that Nemesis flashes away from kind of going the other way. And yeah, the Herald was the cherry on top that it managed to get a huge amount of chunk damage onto that inner tower, but I still think that the Dragon is probably what both these teams are going to be looking at in the immediate future.
And eyes on Mad to get this one, because Soul Point is really the way that they start to match the scaling of the Fnatic lineup, because going even at this stage of the game is not what Mad Lions want. Rekkles is getting stronger and stronger. The Seraph's Embrace is fully stacked now for Nemesis. He's starting to max out on the immediate AP that he can get, potentially Void Staff or Leandries to follow. And Bwipo, despite the rough start, is still a Cho'Gath, has a Rupture, has a big ol' silence, and that is a lot of teamfight power.
And it just has a ton of utility, as well as the damage that can come out of that ultimate as he's looking for the chomp. They've now forced Mad Lions off this objective.
Who's going to get it, though? Who's going to actually take this one away? Selfmade will secure it. It looks like they're going to have to burn some flashes to get out of this one. Bwipo making it over the wall, but still going to get taken down. The quad volleyball finish coming in there from Humanoid. Hylissang going to get sacrificed as well. Excuse me, but the Ocean Soul will, or the Ocean Drake rather, will go over to Fnatic.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Damage done. It's not like Mad Lions can pivot off of, you know, taking down 2 of Fnatic's members and, you know, rotate into a potential Baron or immediately walk up into a tower and siege it. They lost the Drake. They lost their stack. It's now, 10 more minutes away from a potential soul point that they would have had. And tick, 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 tick. Is this going to be the actual death of our first place, or one of our first place teams? Sorry, Rogue. Didn't mean to forget you again.
Yeah, Rogue could be in sole possession after this one. And obviously still very much at the top of the standings, but we've already talked about the team that can secure first in the regular season, win championship points and everything else is included, does just get to go to Worlds. And that's a huge deal if you're Mad Lions or Rogue, and 2 organizations that have not gotten that opportunity yet.
I feel like this has been a much slower paced game. Like, there was still some skirmishing in the early portions of it, but you know, usually when you see Mad Lions, you see like a Twisted Fate and a Lee Sin, and they're constantly leaving the lane and constantly getting involved and roaming around and skirmishing in river, and I just didn't get that. And I feel like if maybe this is the blueprint to kind of slowing down Mad Lions, is taking away a lot of their power pick and comfort picks, but limiting them in the lane phase, locking them down.
And just credit to Fnatic for trading even. I mean, we're 7-7 in kills. Of course, Fnatic were more favored early on, and it's now been balanced out by Mad. But overall, you say that it hasn't been very active, but it is 14 kills. It is now 5 towers, 6 towers. Wow, perfectly timed on this trade there. And so while it feels slow, I feel like it's just because it's been so even. No one really feels like they've gotten an incredible advantage at any point in this game.
And it feels like outside of maybe 1 or 2 instances that everyone is fighting over the appropriate things to be fighting over. You know, it's not just like random picks where someone's just left wandering around. It's slow pushes into well-executed dives. It's Drake fights being set up or potential Drake fights being set up. So I think right now this is actually a case where both teams are playing well and one team is actually just playing better. And right now, I feel like it's Fnatic.
We'll see if Mad Lions can rally here, if they can hold on to first place, if they can tie Rogue overall. You're going to see the Ezreal just check to make sure the Baron's not being done. Now you can see in the gold graph, Orome very far ahead, almost 11k gold. He's level 13. He's got 2 abilities maxed. He's got 2 items completed. He's on the way to the Death's Dance. But if he can't find a way into the backline, it's not going to matter. And if his team gets picked off before a fight even starts, he might not get the chance.
Kaiser just deleted from the map right now. Now, eyes on Humanoid, he does have teleport, and he is trying to push the wave in. He's got a nice double wave stack, so he's going to get lots of damage on this bottom structure. But can the rest of the Mad Lions dissuade Fnatic from this Baron?
They don't have Ezreal this time around, but it is on the way for Carzzy. He has been landing the Qs. He's been getting that cooldown lower and lower, but this is the trade. If they can take this Baron away, if they can contest this Baron, if they can stop it, it will be positive overall for Fnatic. But now they're all trapped in the pit, and Orome's looking for his time to go in. He's waiting for Rage to stack up. They are going to want to finish this one, and it's going to be incredibly difficult here. Leona already taken down. Bwipo's in the pit. In theory, he can steal this, but Orome, look at that damage. That's what you want from your Renekton. They put all their gold into his back pocket, and it's finally paying off. Rekkles running for the hills, and Fnatic gift wrapping a Baron for the Mad Lions just like that.
Oh, and just like that, the Mad Lions tear the game away from Fnatic. This Baron is going to give them so much control, but they still can't just take it easy and kind of pull off the gas. With this Baron, they need to make the damage felt. Orome, very powerful getting into that backline. I believe got directly on top of Nemesis, deleted him, and then immediately ran for Rekkles, taking both of the Fnatic carries out.
And Froskurinn, before this fight, I thought that this game might just be over for Mad Lions, but finally Orome gets to use his gold lead. For what feels like the first time in this game, we get to see how far ahead Orome really is as he just shreds through 2 members of Fnatic.
And don't get me wrong, I do want to take this moment to be like, yes, Orome, I keep hearing that you are a carry player from the ERLs, you've been playing weak side, I wanted to see it, and we finally actually get to see it. But that was also expertly well played from all of the Mad Lions. The fact that they didn't panic, they stayed in control when Fnatic were on the Baron, they played it slow, allowed Humanoid to also take that bottom tower before setting up the teleport.
Oh, big shockwave though. Is there going to be a follow-up here? Hylissang once again on the backside. The stun will not connect. Shadow flashes out to safety. Mad Lions will walk away. Carzzy just managing to get down a decent amount more damage onto Hylissang.
Can you feel it, Drakos? Because I feel like we are finally seeing Fnatic again. Like, Mad Lions, yeah, took the game away, but they had to sweat a minute. They had to work for it.
You say that, but now we're seeing Carzzy again, or Kaiser again, rather. He's going to find that one. It will just be the 1-for-1 trade. However, taking down Nemesis does make things a little bit easier, but the slows now coming in. Orome off to the side, chasing down Selfmade. Needs to walk back from this one, though. Phase Rush, just a little bit too strong for Renekton to find the chase down there.
It doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Mad Lions probably going to pull off of this one for the Ocean Soul. Excuse me, just the Ocean Drake Soul and 2 more Drakes.
Good to have them set up, though, for Soul Point. And now, I think with the Death Dance finished as well, and Swifties, an adaptation that I really love given the sheer amount of slows coming through on the opposite side. Orome is the terrifying member of Mad Lions we have to keep our eyes on, but inevitably, no matter how good it looks for Mad Lions, no matter how much we feel like they can close this one out, they still have to find another team fight where they can actually use this Renekton gold lead, because if they fight front to back, Renekton is never going to get to that back line.
That's a perfect point to kick off then. So it's like, where do Mad Lions want to fight? They can't fight into the lane phase unless they get a really deep teleport where he's getting like sped up right into the middle. You're thinking like Vladimir, like Renekton really needs that flank. So fighting in the jungle is what's going to be the make or break for Mad Lions, in my opinion, especially if they don't have access to TP.
And just a second to appreciate Hylissang here, as it looks like he is going to make it out. This man walked through enemy territory to place all 3 of those wards on the enemy jungle, did not get spotted, and made it out. So the Splinter Cell adage continues to be true, and that vision is going to be hugely important in the next Baron. The Baron buff will fall away and should be up just enough to give them more information to set up better control around the pit.
He's George Clooney, he's Bond, he's
Sam Fisher.
Tom Clancy. Like
Tom Clancy wrote the books. He's not the man of the book. He's an incredible, best-selling spy thriller book author. What can't Hylissang do?
Ghost Rider, let's be honest.
Ghost, yeah. There you go.
Okay. Now, Fnatic have survived the onslaught of Baron. Remember, we said that Mad Lions, like, just because they got the Baron, just because they finally showed up, doesn't mean that they're still in control of this game, as that damage right there.
Now we're going to see the re-engage. Orome going to double dash out to safety, but that's all the dash is gone. Hylissang now has to run for the hill. Selfmade getting taken lower and lower, and that's the one shot coming in from the Syndra, the 6th orb ulti to finish him.
Really nicely done from Humanoid on the flank. Big thing missing from Fnatic there was that Nemesis was clearing the wave on the top side. He wasn't there available for the fight.
Only 3 members remaining. The 3 members that scale the best, no doubt. But the shockwave goes wide. It's only going to be focused on clearing the wave, and that's going to be disastrous. Bwipo holding on for now, but Kaiser's going to grab that kill. The wave deleted, though, means that Mad cannot get anything else. Still another member down. 3 members down for Fnatic. 5 seconds to Hylissang. 30 now for Bwipo, and 17 for Selfmade.
But that was 2 huge back-to-back mistakes from Fnatic. A, trying to force that fight without Nemesis, and then B, blowing the shockwave to try to dissuade people from diving the tower and then losing more members. Now, Fnatic are lucky that it doesn't mean that their base gets kicked in. They didn't lose an inhib or anything like that, but you know, those are the mistakes that have kind of categorized Fnatic for a mid-tier team. It's those mistakes constantly like that they need to avoid, because Mad Lions are showing themselves as an elite team in the LEC. If you make a single mistake against them, they will rip everything away from you. They did it with the Baron, and they almost did it with the game there. If Rekkles dies, it's over.
Well, and they're set up to do so, right? Because you've got Carzzy, who can poke you safely from range. He's got the slow with the frozen out. You've got the immediate turn and burn from Kaiser with that stun. And Renekton, yeah, normally he's going to struggle to get into that backline, but if you overstep, he instantly punishes. And the second Carzzy's able to proc that Iceborne Gauntlet on you, he is just going to run you down, and you are going to regret, you know, forcing any kind of sloppy fight. The Baron, 50 seconds. Ocean Drake will be Ocean Soul Point for Mad Lions. These are going to be massive objectives. If Fnatic can take one, they buy themselves more time to continue scaling, but if they lose one, very well could be the end of the game.
I think at this point, if we're looking at kind of the champions that they're missing some of their core itemization on, for Fnatic, it's Nemesis on this Orianna. I think you're wanting at least 3 items completed before you feel like you're really getting that big Orianna damage, especially for kind of how beefy a lot of these champions are. So Fnatic are close, like right on the cusp, but just not quite there yet. So still need to play this one relatively close to the chest.
And of course, always have to respect, if you're on the side of Fnatic, the potential for Humanoid just to one-shot you. He's got, I think, the maximum AP build that he can possibly have at this stage of the game.
He's level 16, and Nemesis is level 14. The thing is Orianna is vastly behind the clock, and Humanoid is very far ahead of it.
Well timed, Froskurinn. The graphic coming up perfectly. And of course, we've got Spellbinder, Deathcap, and Ludens. So maximum burst potential here coming in.
Fnatic fans, if I had to give you a timer about when you can feel better about this game, I would say if you can survive maybe 8 more minutes, then I think it feels okay. But right now, because of how far Mad Lions are ahead of the clock, it's still really scary, and I feel like Fnatic are still playing from the back foot in terms of having to really over-execute.
Playing even further from the back foot if they are forced to fight for this one, because Orome can just step forward and be a massive threat. Carzzy gonna hit 2 with that ultimate. Mad holding on to the objective for now. Hylissang trying to find a way to the backline. Rekkles going to throw the shield across the entire team. Bwipo now looking for the follow-up. That's a beautiful shockwave into the rupture, but can they finish the fight in their favor? Nemesis still alive. The ultimate finishing off one, but it's not nearly going to be enough. Orome running for the hills now, and Fnatic holding on. You wanted execution, Froskurinn. Fnatic will not give up this Baron, but Humanoid is on the chase.
And it's the fact that Fnatic had one mission right there, to dissuade the Baron and then get access over the Drake. You see that Mad Lions ping the Drake. They know that Fnatic have pulled off and walked towards it. They go immediately back to the Baron, and it doesn't look like Fnatic know this.
Here comes the Pantheon ult as well. Mad Lions should be able to finish this one. They've got a lot of low health bars. And of course, that's going to be the Dragon. They can't start walking back to the Baron, but maybe Fnatic, I think you're right. They just don't know that they're going to continue to do this one. Mad going to grab the Baron. They trade it. They deny Soul Point, and that's huge. But now they have to survive another 3 minutes of Baron on the side of Mad Lions.
Now the thing is they don't necessarily have the greatest wave clear. You basically have short range and Graves. You have a Senna. She's not the fastest wave clear champion, so you're entirely reliant on your Orianna for maximum wave clear potential. And the dive tools from Mad are actually really powerful. So at this point, I think that Mad need to be really bold with their Baron. If they see a split-second opportunity to look for the dive, I think they need to end the game with this power, because again, they're that much farther away from the Soul Point. Do not wait around for Elder to try to end against Fnatic's composition.
And Rekkles, of course, hitting the 2 carries with that ultimate. Excellent shockwave into the rupture. We saw this in the Misfits game as well. Good coordination coming into these late game fights from Fnatic, but of course, a very close exchange overall. A trade of objectives, a trade of cooldowns, ultimately a kill in the favor of Mad Lions, but past that, it is just Baron for the Ocean Break.
Yeah, and again, we don't know necessarily for sure if Fnatic knew that they were trading objectives really, but we did at least see that they didn't have any sort of vision. So again, thank you observers for showcasing that one. And like you said, now the game is maybe give away a single inhib, live to fight another day if you're Fnatic. And for Mad Lions, it's you've had what, 2 Barons to your name? Time to push on the gas.
Of course, the Spooky Ghost is going to come out there. Twin Shadows giving a little bit of information here. Good news is Cho'Gath has built a decent amount of AP, so we'll offer a bit more wave clear. This Fnatic, for now, feel pretty comfortable to step forward and take away these waves. Mad going to do their best just to hold on to this cannon wave and slow push this one out. But Nemesis there, as you said, will be able to clear this one. Mad Lions currently do not have wave sinks. Bot lane completely pushed out. Only 1:20 on the Baron. They do not have enough time to sync all of their waves here.
Seeing if Carzzy can make any of this poke really stick. That would also be another way that Mad Lions would feel really confident diving this. We kind of talked about their tools and how threatening they can be when they walk up to structures. There's one of those synced waves that you wanted, Drakos.
Finally getting one in mid. The bot lane one will not, could potentially come in time, but it doesn't look like it'll sync with the others. Now as Carzzy's been caught up to delayed CC, but he is able to leap backwards. Fnatic still feeling confident enough to step out of their base. It is an 8k gold deficit, but Fnatic know that their champions scale so well that they can take these fights if they have to. For now though, losing out here in the mid lane.
Just about minimizing losses. Naturally giving away 1 inhib doesn't feel too bad, but 2 is usually the turning point for most pro teams. As you can see, Mad Lions now starting to suffocate, get some of this poke damage to connect. That's a big chunk.
And Hylissang has been the source of most of these engages here in the mid to late game, so chunking him out buys you so much more time to push in. It looks like we will lose the second tower. Will the second inhib drop as well? For the side of Fnatic. Mad Lions pushing in, set up to potentially end this one. Pantheon ult, where is it going to go? Looks like to the bot lane. They want to go for triple inhib here, offer another pressure point.
Or at least continue to maximize the Baron that they have left here. And again, Fnatic need to draw the line somewhere. You've run out of time. You no longer get to farm this one out. I think they're buying kind of the last items and deciding where they're going to plant their feet.
If they get the perfect execution, they can win the fight, but certainly in Mad's favor at this point. The gold lead is just too massive for them to contend with. Hylissang doing what he can to clear the way, throws it the Zenith Blade, but it will not connect. Shadow and Orome waiting off to the side. Carzzy going to throw down a good ultimate, chunking out Rekkles and Hylissang. Follow-up isn't there. Carzzy just slowly but surely chipping away at the towers. Orome starts to push in mid. Once again, Mad Lions are splitting Fnatic. They're making them choose where they want to fight, but they will not be able to fight all of Mad Lions at once.
So things that you're looking for is obviously the shockwave, as well as if Bwipo can catch anyone with the rupture. And then for Mad Lion side, it's just who's going to make the damage stick. Leona ultimate goes down, but I don't think there's going to be any follow-up.
Bwipo doesn't have any mana.
You can see the big damage though from Fnatic's composition, but really patiently played from both teams.
Oh, and slowly just surely mitigating it. Sturge chipping away again and again, but now it's the TP on the flank. This is going to be a big one. Carzzy coming over the wall right into the waiting hands of Bwipo. The slows are coming out, but it might not be enough. Bwipo's just getting shredded and taken down. The heal comes in from Rekkles. Just enough time to buy.
He's dead.
Bwipo back his life, but he goes golden at the worst time. No, the flash out to safety. Hylissang may have traded back here, though. Nemesis throwing the ball over the wall. The knockup comes through, but it will not connect, and Mad Lions find an opportunity. They're getting picks left and right. Good damage over the wall, though. It means a shutdown onto Humanoid. Fnatic going to lose one Nexus tower for this exchange, but 26 seconds till the Ocean means that Mad Lions, if they can't end it here, will at least get the Ocean Soul.
Fnatic are trapped into their base, and you can see that they've gotten big shutdown on Nemesis. That is going to help Orianna reach kind of her next item breakpoint, immediately going for the Void Staff there, but still kind of a death cap away from that big damage that they really need. It is going to be the Ocean Soul really easy for Mad Lions as they're continuing to just suffocate Fnatic.
And all credit to Mad Lions. That play at the Baron where Orome finally, once again, found his opportunity, found his window, really turned this game around. And of course, Fnatic fans are going to look back at it as a big mistake from Fnatic. But if Mad had not found that opportunity, this most certainly would have been Fnatic's game. And ever since they got that Baron, they have been in total control. One
of the cool things about Mad Lions is the fact that they're not just taking on kind of our former iconic players in the likes of the Fnatics, the G2s, the Origins, in the individual prowess and talent of them, but also in their macro decision-making. How patient they are with their objectives, how patient they are with playing the map. And that's why I think it's so cool to be excited about the Mad Lions. And while the rest of the league looks like it's just completely thrown into chaos and disarray, Mad Lions are something that European fans can feel proud of and feel hopeful sending into an international event. This is a smart team and a talented team.
And again, we see that on the Baron, where Humanoid is comfortable enough to stay bot lane, to split push, while his team has to contest the Baron, the do-or-die scenario, putting Fnatic in a position where they have to take it, or they're just going to lose a tower for their attempt. And those kind of decision-making moments are what we see in, you know, the summer finals, where we got to watch Fnatic versus G2 battle it out for 5 games. Those split decision moments where you have to bet everything on a single call. And for Mad Lions, right now it looks like they're betting on this Baron. They've already got the Ocean Soul while we were taking a look at that replay, so it's a very Mad Lions favored fight, but maybe the perfect shockwave can be enough.
Level 17 now on this Orianna. Nemesis has just been sprinting back into this one. Of course, some key shutdowns have really helped springboard him back into relevance here. So here we go.
Humanoid in the darkness, though, is going to be big. There's a lot of damage, and he can just obliterate Nemesis here. Smokescreen, though, reveals Humanoid as he's forced to use the Dark Sphere. Not sure who's coming his way. Rupture only going to connect onto Orome. Not ideal. Eyes on the Orianna, though. She is the difference maker. All the items in the world to make this fight work. She's got the Death Cap. She's got the Void Staff.
Selfmade
but she's been stunned. Orome now coming in. He's just going to one-shot him. That damage coming in from Renekton is disgusting, and that was the opportunity that Mad Lions needed. There's nothing left. Orome's just running through him. One more. Cole the Meek. Why not go for Selfmade? He doesn't need to. The team is there to finish him out, and even Bwipo not going to find a kill because he's still got the GA, and Mad Lions reminding us why they play at the top of the table.
Played beautifully with Fog of War right there, the vision. The fact that Fnatic had to turn around the corner immediately again into another wood chipper. This time around it was Orome on the Renekton, really making a statement because everyone else in the Mad Lions had been called into question. They said, yes, they can compete with the best of the best, and Orome says, me too.
Fantastic game from Orome and the Mad Lions. He finally gets his pop-off moment in a season full of wins. That one has to feel especially good for the Renekton. And Fnatic, again, a lot of tenacity shown from this team. Gladline, wonderful. I shouldn't talk of these celebrations. They're one of my favorite parts. But, oh, there it is. Carry your carry. I respect it.
I think it's an easy player of the game vote right there.
Absolutely. Kaiser. Orome, Shadow, and Carzzy are your choices. It's Orome. If you vote for anyone else, you're absolutely trolling. Carzzy had a solid game. Shadow had a solid game. But Orome, one shot, the only person in the game that could have turned that team fight around in favor of Fnatic.
Hilariously, this is how it looked from both mid laners' positions. Nemesis comes around the corner, instantly dies. He's like, guys, I'm dead. Humanoid on the other side, I don't know if you saw it, Selfmade went over the wall, flashed on Syndra, it just blew him up, and Humanoid was like, guys, I'm dead.
80 champions one-shotting mages. Love to see it. Well, we're soon going to hear from Orome before Orome joins us in the post-game lobby, so don't go anywhere. That's going to do it for us at the caster desk. There to finish him out, and even Bwipo not going to find
and welcome back for the last interview of the day here in the LEC, as you guys are watching the win moment of Mad Lions, which is becoming something that we're expecting. And I have Orome with me to talk about this victory and actually the win moment. Hi Orome, thank you for joining me.
Hello.
So I want to know, this one was super funny. The one with the water bottle last week was super funny as well, the glasses and everything. So how much of a thinking do you give these win moments? Because, I mean, it looks like it's becoming something regular for you and, deeper every time.
Before every game, we have like 1 or 2 hours to prepare for the game. Usually, like 80% of this time is dedicated to developing a new move if we win. We also have a move if we lose. We haven't shown that yet, but yeah, today was my idea. Other ideas were mostly Carzzy's, sometimes Marek's, but we work on it as a team and we try to improve from week to week.
It's super funny, and I love how you're saying that preparation for the day includes preparing for the win moments. I mean, that's amazing. And here you were getting carried, and I want to mention the fact that you are the player of the game here, but you won by 90% of the votes, Orome. That's huge.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's quite surprising to me, since I think it's my first player of the game, so thank you to everyone who voted for me. Yeah, it feels really good to have this as a first time.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. And you say you don't know if you deserve it. You had an outstanding performance here on Renekton. And overall, I feel like the Mad Lions played this game very cautiously. Unlike Fnatic, who I think was rushing in a bit too much into you guys. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think the team atmosphere or mentality kind of shows in how you play. We are very relaxed right now, so we take things slowly and don't take too many risky scenarios. But if their team atmosphere is kind of more pressured, they will also feel more pressure in the game to take risky situations.
Yeah. I don't often ask about how is the mood between you guys. Obviously, it seems like you're having fun. I mean, we all see it on social media, but tell me about it. The development from the Mad Lion from the moment you guys met to right now being basically best friends, from what it seems.
I mean, every single game, we go into the game with the mentality that we need to have fun, and we will have fun. Even in happier games, let's call them that, we just lose with a smile. It's quite amazing, to be honest. I've never been in such a team environment. It wasn't like this for the whole of first split. Like when playoffs came in the first split, we obviously kind of crumbled a bit under the pressure. But ever since then, it's been on an upward slope, and right now I think we only have positive feelings towards each other and towards the future with this team.
It's interesting because it reminds me of a team who played World's Finals last year, and the way you guys are developing feels really similar. So I know that this team that I won't name they had a real good trust in each other, and it's essential to me when I feel like you want to play as a team, and especially going for these flashy plays you guys go for. So tell me about building this trust and being honest with each other when you guys do reviews and everything. How does it go?
I mean, I think what you do outside of the game matters a lot, especially in how you can communicate to your teammates about what they can change. Because usually you have habits that are bad, but you don't see them because you do them all the time, right? And don't even think that they could be wrong. But other people can see it, and you have to look at it with an open view. And I think being friends helps this a lot. So having a lot of outside activities and having an attitude that allows you to talk to each other freely is key in, well, pretty much anything game related, to be honest.
Honesty through success. And it shows for you guys so far. Thank you very much, Orome, for the interview, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
And we're going to take one last break, and we'll come back in a few minutes for post-game lobby with VoD of Fnatic. Stay tuned.